Welcome to another interesting class. Today we'll be talking about the Earth rotation and the Earth orbit. Okay, you already know from our previous class that the Earth spins or rotates on its axis. We're talking about the North-South pole axis. Okay, when we talk of that axis, we're talking about imaginary lines that runs through the North Pole, through the center of the Earth to the South Pole. This is a model. Okay, it's not actually the real Earth. We are trying to explain this so that you understand it. Now observe the way the Earth is rotating in this model. Do you see that the imaginary lines is not at the center? It's not tearing the Earth into two parts. It does not pass through the center of the Earth, is it not? We say it is tilted at an angle, right? In this class, you are going to be wondering, why are we studying this? Why are we even studying the model of the Earth? We are studying this so that we understand a lot of things about the Earth. Have you ever wondered why we have rainy season in Africa and dry season, and then why we have spring, we have summer, we have autumn or fall, and then we have winter in Europe? Have you ever wondered why? We are going to be answering all those questions today. Now you already know that it takes the Earth 24 hours to complete one rotation, that is to completely turn around on its axis, which gives us day and night. Okay, now how many complete turns of axis will the Earth make in 1 week? What do you think? 7, right? Yes, 7 days make 1 week. Now what would happen if the Earth did not rotate on its axis? Let's imagine the Earth refused to rotate on its axis. What do you think will happen? There will be trouble. People that are in darkness will remain in darkness. People that are in sunlight will remain in sunlight, right? People that are experiencing afternoon will remain in the afternoon. While people that are experiencing night will remain at night. Remember when Joshua was fighting? Do you remember? In the Bible, Joshua now commanded that the sun should stay. Have you ever wondered if that was actually what happened? If God made the earth not to rotate throughout that period? So that is the scenario that will happen if the earth don't rotate. You might have the sun staring at you for more than 24 hours. Okay, now if we model the earth carefully, we will discover that the axis of the earth is tilted at an angle. When I say tilted at an angle, it means that the way the earth is rotating is not actually rotating straight. Okay, let me use the word, it's a bit curved. You see, when I say it's a bit bent, that's what we mean by tilted. Okay, it's tilted at an angle. Look at this picture I will show you for you to understand what I'm saying. Now look at the straight line that is broken. That is what you would think that is how the earth is rotating, but that is not actually how the earth is rotating. The earth is actually rotating in this other line that is crossed. Do you understand? So we measure the way the earth is rotating. When we divide the earth into two, we mean we have an equator, okay, and imaginary lines. So we'll measure the angle in which the earth is bent, which is called tilted. It gives us 23.5 degree. Okay, the earth axis is tilted about 23.5 degree from the vertical axis. From the vertical. Okay, so when you take a ruler, draw a circle, measure 23.5 out of that circle. Okay, imagine you bend that circle that way. That is how the earth is actually what? Rotating. Okay, so as it's spinning in an anti-clockwise direction, the north pole is kind of bent, right? You'll see it anyway as we proceed, but know that it's tilted at an angle of 23.5. Now let's look at the earth orbit. The earth rotates on its own axis, and as a result we have day and night on earth. Now at the same time as it is rotating on its axis, the earth is also moving around, it's also orbiting around the sun. You know that, right? Yes, the earth moves in an orbit around the sun. An orbit is a path that an object takes around something else. Okay, so it takes 1 year for the earth to orbit the sun. Okay, 1 year. Now, as a result of these movements and the fact that the earth is tilted at an angle of 23.5, we now have day and night, and also different temperature of the at different parts on the earth. Okay, and this now results to why we have different seasons in different parts of the earth at different times, okay, of the year. Take a look at this very important diagram I'm showing you. Look at the earth rotating now. You already know we have day and night as it's rotating, but this one now is orbiting around the sun. Observe how. The question I want to ask you here, do you think that as the earth is rotating, it is actually the earth now, look at it, is it straight or is a bit bent? Can't you see it? It's tilted, that is, it is bent. The North Pole, look, let me wait for the model to come this way. Are you seeing the North Pole facing the sun? Yes, that's what we mean by it is tilted as it's orbiting around the sun. And this is the reason why we now have what? Different seasons of the year, which I will explain to you shortly. Okay, now this is a model of the movement of the earth at different times of the year. Okay, we use European weather to explain this before I will now come down to Africa. In Europe and other parts of America, there are considered 4 seasons. They have the winter, you have the spring, you have the summer, and then you have the fall. The fall is also called autumn. Okay, it's called fall because it's a season that comes before winter, and also symbolizes a season where leaves fall down from trees, right? It's actually the cooler season before experiencing winter. All right, we're going to use this to explain the rotation of the earth, to explain how this season occur. Now, there are 2 things you must know before I explain. The earth rotates, okay, on its axis, and as it rotates orbit the sun, it is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degree, and this angle does not change throughout the year, all right, as it's rotating. Now, let me explain it with respect to the North Pole. Let's use the North Pole to experience it. Remember that as the earth is rotating on its axis, we have day and night, right? That is, if one part is experiencing day, the other part will be experiencing night. It is also the same thing with the weather. As one part of the earth is experiencing winter, the other part of the earth will be experiencing summer. Okay, as one part is experiencing spring, the other part will be experiencing fall. All right, so now let me begin my explanation with the North Pole. As you can see, the North Pole there is tilted at 23.5 degree, which does not change. Now, at this very point in time, which during late December, observe how the North Pole is shifted away from the sun, or is tilted away from the sun. Okay, now it's facing the cooler region. Okay, observe the South Pole on the other hand is facing what? The sun. All right, so why the North Pole is now experiencing winter, the South Pole is experiencing summer. While the North Pole we are experiencing shorter day, the South Pole we are experiencing longer day. Now, as the earth moves or orbits, it orbits to this other point we can see here. You remember it's in an anti-clockwise direction. So when it gets to this point here, the North Pole, now observe the North Pole, okay, is still a bit tilted away, right, from the sun. So the sun is actually shining on it halfway. Let me use the word halfway around. So it will now experience what we call spring. Alright, the sun will experience what we call spring. The spring is equal night, equal day. Okay, and it is characterized with moderate sun. Alright, it is characterized with moderate sunlight. It is where all the plants grow fast, everything move well. Okay, everywhere is green and rosy, just like you watch in some movies like Lion King, where everywhere was green. Okay, this is the weather that favors plant growth a lot. Now observe, as the northern part is now experiencing spring, I told you before, the southern part now is shifted away from the sun. Okay, it's now experiencing what we call autumn or fall. Alright, now the earth now moves to this third part I'm showing you now. Look at the North Pole. The North Pole is now facing what? The sun. While the South Pole is now shifted away from the sun. So at this point in time now, the North Pole is now experiencing summer, while the South Pole is now experiencing what? Winter. Remember I told you the earth are reversed. Okay, so as this one is experiencing spring here, so it's experiencing winter here. Now to the last point now, observe how the North Pole now has moved. Okay, is now shifted away from the sun. Alright, is now experiencing what we call what? Fall. While the South Pole is now experiencing what we call what? Spring. Do you get it now? Yes. And then finally it now moves back from fall to what? To winter, as where we started from. So this is how the rotation changes, but it's not always the same. After some years the weather will change a bit, okay, because of the rotation of the earth. Alright, and then to come back again, you will see it in the video I will show to you. I hope you now understand it. Alright, now if you want to use Africa to explain it, it is also the same thing. Now the teeth of the sun affect the hours of sunlight we get. In the part of the earth tight away from the sun, the daytime will be what? Shorter. I said it before. Once the earth is tightened away from the sun, we will have a shorter day. Once it is tightened towards the sun, we have a longer day. So once it is around those spring period, we have equal day, alright, and equal night. So I want you to watch this video, pay attention to the movement of the sun, or how the earth orbits the pay attention to how the earth orbits the sun, and how the tilted angle does not change, and how it results to what we call the seasons, and also how it affects plants as well. Okay, and finally I want you to pay attention and tell me, there's another name we also call this earth orbit. Okay, it's in the video. You tell me what it is. All right.
Axis of rotation, or the wobble effect. Let's begin by talking about the Earth's axis. The Earth rotates on an axis. The axis is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees. The Earth rotates around its axis once a day. The tilt of the axis affects when seasons occur. When the axis tilts toward the sun, the northern hemisphere experiences summer, while the southern hemisphere experiences winter. In half a year, the Earth will revolve elliptically counterclockwise around the sun, while the axis stays tilted at 23.5 degrees. When the axis tilts away from the sun, the northern hemisphere then experiences winter, and the southern hemisphere experiences summer. The axis of rotation, also known as the wobble effect. The Earth's axis has an axis of rotation, and, just like a top, the axis spins. The angle does not change, only the direction of the axis. The axis of rotation will complete a full cycle approximately every 26,000 years. Today, this is how the seasons correlate with the axis of rotation and its orbit around the Sun. In relation to the stars, the Earth's axis currently points toward the star Polaris.
You know that Earth orbits the Sun, right? And that it takes a full year for our planet to complete its orbit? Earth also rotates like a slightly tilted spinning top. Earth remains tilted in the same direction all year round as we orbit the Sun. But that means the Sun's light shines differently on Earth at different times of the year. Let's look at Earth when it's winter in the northern hemisphere. Observe how the North Pole tips away from the Sun. This means that sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere at a shallow angle for a short period of time. This is why winter weather is generally cool, with short days and long nights. As Earth orbits the Sun, we move towards spring in the northern hemisphere. Now Earth is tilted neither toward nor away from the Sun, as day and night are about equal in length. As we make our way to the summer months, notice that Earth is still tilted in the same direction, only now on the other side of our orbit. The North Pole is tipping toward the Sun. Sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere more directly, and the Sun stays in the sky for a longer time. Compared to winter, summer days are warmer, and the Sun stays in the sky much longer. Notice too that while it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it's winter in the southern hemisphere. Because of Earth's tilt, the seasons are reversed. We observed how Earth's tilt creates the different seasons throughout the year. How does this affect life? Plant life and other photosynthesizers, we call them primary producers, depend on sunlight. They respond to the changes in the seasons.
Welcome back. I placed this video here because I know you want to ask me one important question. You want to ask me, why is it that snow fall in London and other part of the Europe, but snow does not fall in Nigeria? Okay, that is why I placed the video here. I will tell you why snow does not fall in Nigeria. Now look at the Earth, all right, and look at map of Africa, okay, and look at the equator. The equator divides it into two equal parts, all right. This is tropic area. Tropic area is area that's characterized with a lot of rainfall and then moderate sunlight for good plant growth. Okay, now look at the map of Africa. Are you seeing it here? Yes. The line below the equator tend to experience a more colder, are you getting it now, temperature than those one above the equator, and Nigeria is above this equator. Do you get it now? So when the Earth rotates, like I've explained to you, because we are actually not facing, or when the Earth rotates away from the Sun, we are still a bit closer to the Sun than these other people below the equator. Do you get it now? So we in Nigeria now, because of our location, we will not experience such colder region. You remember that snow fall as a result of what? Solidification. You know, when the water vapor in air, do you remember that when it gets cooler and cooler and colder, it freezes, you know, and they fall down as what? Remember, snow. All right. Now, if we now look at some other African countries now that are under this equator, you discover that they also experience snow. For example, South Africa is there, snow falls there. Okay, Madagascar, snow falls there. So I want you to understand why snow does not fall in Nigeria. All right, I hope this explains your solution. So that brings us to what we have established in this class. We have established in this class that the earth turns around or rotates on its axis. We also established that the earth axis is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees, and it takes 24 hours for the earth to make one complete rotation on its axis. And then we have day and night on earth due to earth's rotation on its axis, and the earth moves in an orbit around the sun, and it takes 1 year for the earth to complete one orbit around the sun. That now brings us to the end of this class. I want you to attempt your fun game and remember to submit your assignment completely. Until then, stay safe. I'll see you in the next class.